Good morning or afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is part of a series of webinars that we've put together specifically for new members or people that are just logging into BNI Connect for the first time. And what we do is we take a couple of sessions, 5 sessions in all actually, to go through and really step through the system, all the different areas that you have access to as a member. From the primary things, and what we're going to talk about today is we're going to give kind of an overview of BNI Connect, but also how to go in and complete your profile and really make the most out of what you're presenting to other people out there in the BNI world. What we'll talk about next week, on Monday, we're going to talk about giving and tracking referrals online. And then on Tuesday, we're going to talk about connecting with other members. On Wednesday, we're going to go through member tools and reports. And on Thursday, we're going to go through inviting and registering visitors. So those are really the top 5 things here in BNI Connect. Each one of these webinars is only about 30 minutes, and all of them will also be recorded. So as we're going through this, if you have any questions, again, this is a live webinar, so please do feel free to ask those questions. Either as we're going through, you can type your questions into the question panel, or if you want to, you can hold off those questions till the end and type them in then, and I'll be happy to answer them. Now, even though we're scheduled for only about 30 minutes for the content, I am always happy to stay on these calls until every single question is answered. The only silly question is the unasked question. So let's take a look at BNI Connect. And again, this is the first step of the process where we're going to be talking about completing your profile. But before we do that, I really wanted to give you guys kind of an idea of kind of just how big BNI Connect is. So if we look at BNI Connect, one thing to keep in mind is that BNI is in 72 countries. Now, officially, we have chapters, and I believe it's 64 or 65 countries, but we have another 6 or 7 countries that are in the process of forming, meaning they're starting their first chapters right now. But essentially, we are in a lot of countries around the world. There's 948 regions of BNI. A region could be something like the state of Rhode Island is a region, or Los Angeles, California is a region, or Dallas, Texas is a region. So all these regions around the world. Currently, we have just coming up on 7,200 chapters and another 1,200 core groups that will hopefully be coming chapters soon. Now, with that, every country out there that would like to have one has a country website, and every region out there can also have a region website. That means that we're putting BNI members' faces and profiles on the public intranet. These are sites that Google goes through and they index those searches, they check the keywords, and we really have the power of BNI's search engine optimization behind you. Along with all the country and region websites, there's also nearly 7,000 chapter websites. So your chapter probably has a website up there on BNI Connect, regardless of whether you've ever even done anything with it. It is there, it's able to be customized. We actually do a webinar later in the month about how to customize your chapter website. There's about 190,000 active users, and there's well over 300 active groups at this point in time, and the groups are really the discussion groups that allow people to talk and have conversations with other BNI members around the world. From a program perspective, one thing to keep in mind is that BNI Connect is not a website. A lot of people say, oh yeah, it's a great website. I could have done that. It's not really a website. It's more like a web-based application. BNI Connect is very similar in a lot of respects to something like QuickBooks Online, where BNI Connect really it's the QuickBooks for your chapter, for example. That's where we store all of the stats for all of the BNI chapters around the world. So think about that. There are 7,000 chapters around the world that are inputting POMS reports every single week, and we're collecting all of those stats on a weekly basis, not to mention all of the different membership stats and the events and the training histories and all sorts of things. So it really is kind of like that management system for the entire BNI organization around the world, as well as hosting all of those web pages. There's about 1,000 individual pages within BNI Connect, all hosting different bits of functionality, about 120 reports. One of the things that makes it so complicated and also makes for kind of slow change sometimes is that there's also 47 languages. Now, I believe there's somewhere around 35 actual languages, like French and English and Spanish and German. But there's also a number of different dialects. For example, there are 12 different versions of English. There's the UK version of English, and then there's the US version of English. Now, there's only minor differences between them, but the fact that we can't just use something like Google Translate means that every single thing, and there's about 14,000 individual fields in BNI Connect that get manually translated. A dozen different programming languages, a million lines of code, and some other wonderful information about the scope. Now, what makes BNI Connect so awesome? It's the fact that we are really practicing local business, global network. For the first time in the history of BNI, we are all on the same platform. To give you an example of that, I'm also happen to be a BNI member, by the way. I am a member of the BNI Wakefield chapter here in the great state of Rhode Island. My meeting is actually tomorrow morning. We meet on Thursdays at 7 o'clock a.m. in Wakefield, Rhode Island. When I first joined BNI in 2002, the only thing I knew about BNI was the 20 or so people that I met with on a weekly basis. I had this vague idea that other chapters might exist, but I had no idea how to get in touch with them. I had no idea how to get in touch with a BNI person in another state or even in another country. There might have been a website here and there, but there was no system that tied us all together. So even though I'm doing business, with my local chapter members, I have family, I have friends, I have people all over the world that may be looking for a referral, and now I can turn to BNI members anytime I need to pass a referral. Not just the people in my group, but the people that are across the state, the people that are across the country, and the people that are across the world. So there's four major things that enhance your membership with BNI, and we're not going to be doing a PowerPoint the whole time. I'm going to jump into BNI Connect in just a second and start showing you some things in here. But I wanted to let you know that there's four major things that you want to concentrate on when it comes to learning about BNI Connect and using BNI Connect on a daily basis. The first of which is the profile availability, and that's what we're going to be covering today. We're going to be covering why it's important to fill out your profile, where does it show up, who has access to it, what do all the different pieces mean, and some strategies for doing that. The second thing, and this is our very next webinar that will happen next Monday, is the online slips. So the ability to enter all of your referrals online through BNI Connect, and that is a huge bonus. And I'll give you all the reasons why you want to do that and what it means to you and your membership. We'll talk about that on Monday. The next thing is with the groups functionality. And really the groups functionality and the social media aspect of BNI Connect is super important as well. It's really what turns this into a global network, and it starts tying us all together and allows us that opportunity to network beyond our chapter. And then finally, the visitors aspect of it. Visitors, they are the lifeblood of our chapters, and BNI Connect really can help you in a couple of ways, both by being able to invite visitors to your chapter with very easy to use customized invitations, but also to register them to remind your visitors to please show up to the meeting. And that is the webinar that we'll be going over next Thursday, by the way. So why is your profile important? Because visibility and credibility equals profitability. And what I always say is, people are looking to pass you business. One thing Dr. Meisner has said on previous webinars is that, we can't guarantee you're going to get extra business just by filling out your profile in BNI Connect. However, I can guarantee that if somebody comes across your profile looking to pass somebody business and it's not filled out, you definitely won't get the referral. So I like to say that the new formula is visibility and credibility. When we take that and we multiply it by BNI Connect, we really can exponentially increase our profitability. So let's take a look at this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of this PowerPoint now, and let's start looking at some of these things about our profile. Now, there's two places that two very important places that your profile shows up. There's the public internet. So there's all these websites out there that people can get access to without even being a BNI member. So they're your regional website, and they're also the country level websites and your chapter websites. And then there's the inside of BNI Connect. So let's look at the outside of BNI Connect first. So I'm going to go to, for example, BNIAmerica.com. This is our U.S. national website, and this has the profile and the listing of every single chapter and every single member in the United States. All 80,000 of us are on this particular site. So, for example, I could go to find a member, and we can do a search. Now you can search by keywords or by name. It's always easier to search by name. So let me just do a search for myself, Jeremy Walsh. And this is going to search across the United States and come up with the results for Jeremy Walsh. So there's one exact match. There's only one of me in the United States, but there's a bunch of other partial matches, either on Jeremy or on Walsh. And if I click on my name here, this will pull up my profile. And we can see here all the different aspects of my profile. It's got my picture, it's got my logo, it's got a little video embedded in it, it's got my ideal referral, all my social media links. You can go find me on Twitter and on Facebook and on my blog and all sorts of things up there. It has my business address, different ways to get in touch with me. This is a more full and complete profile. Now it's showing here, BNIAmerica.com. So this is a unique URL that has my information. I can also go, for example, to my regional website. So I happen to be a member in BNI Rhode Island, and BNI Rhode Island has their own website. And it's similar look and feel to the country website, but each region can make it a little bit different. So this is ours. It has some great things on it. Find a chapter, find a member. It has an event calendar if you're looking for a calendar of when the next member success program is. But if I go to find a member, and once again, I do a search for, let's do a search this time for a computer and see if we can find some computer people in Rhode Island here. And we do, and here I am, Jeremy. BNI Wakefield chapter. Hey, look, it's the same profile. So it's the same thing on BNI Rhode Island. And I can also go to my chapter page. So if I go to find a chapter, and let me do a search for the Wakefield chapter, it gives the details of my chapter, and I can see when and where we meet, see all the different members of my chapter, and I can click on, once again, my name. Oh, let me go back, hold on a second. Let me go to the chapter site. So I go to the Visit the Chapter website. This is the Wakefield chapter. Now I can go to our members. And now this is another unique URL that has my details on it. So that is 3 points of presence on the internet with my information. And I'm telling you, Google is indexing those. They like them, they see them, and it's a great benefit to have. Now on the inside of BNI Connect, so if I go and I click on BNI Connect and I log into the system, there's a couple of different ways you can connect with people around the world. The easiest way to do that is, let's do a search for me inside BNI Connect. And I click on this little magnifying glass here. And once again, I can search for my name. Now the difference is, when I'm looking at the regional site, it's only looking for members in the region. If I'm looking at the country site, it's looking for members within the United States. Here, it's looking around the world for members. We can see here we have my name again, Jeremy Walsh, and once again, it is going to be the same profile information. So this is one of those things, you fill it out once and it's in all these 4 different places. The one on the inside of BNI Connect for members only does share a bit more information. So it does have all my different roles. So what am I doing in BNI? All the different things I do here. I'm a member, I'm a director consultant. Now I'm a system administrator here. It also lists my business. It has that video. It shows people what my keywords are. So the things that supplement what I do. My logo, my different contacts. It does list my email address if I want it to here in the system, and I do recommend that you share this information so people can get in touch with you. But in addition to this stuff, which is also available on the public, is we have the bio, for example. And you can share weekly presentations. You can share a gains profile. You can share a tops profile. If we look, we can see everybody's connections. So similar to LinkedIn, where you can look at somebody's connections and all the people they're connected to on a first level, you can drill into these connections as well. So I can click on any of these names here and click on their profile and take a look at what they're up to. We also share testimonials with other people here in BNI Connect, and this will list all the testimonials that are on my profile. There's a photo sharing library where you can share photos. You can share testimonials from clients if you'd like to. You can share, wacky computer-related pictures or gratuitous images of your children, whatever you'd like to put in there. That you can upload up to 20 different images. You can see which discussion groups people are participating in. And finally, you can view somebody's training history. Now, how do you update all of this information? So if you're on your profile here, you can just click on Update Profile. Or if you just logged into BNI Connect, I'm going to go back to the home screen by clicking the Home button up here in the upper left-hand corner. And back on this My BNI Business page, I can also click on Update Profile, My BNI page. And from any page, anywhere, if you happen to be in a report or anywhere else in the system, click on Options, My Account. So again, 3 different ways. They will all take you to the same place, and that is your profile. This is the back end portion of your profile. Now you'll notice that your profile is broken up into a number of different tabs that you'll see across the top here. And this is very similar to the different tabs that you see when you're browsing somebody's profile and you're viewing their profile in BNI Connect. We have our main profile. We have our user profile. We have our contact details. We have our account settings, our bio. If you happen to be a director consultant, you'll have a director profile. And finally, the training history. So what we're going to do is let's just step through some of these and see what each of them are. The first tab here, the main profile, it has stuff like your name and your company name and things like that. The important things on here, you will notice that a lot of times after your name or your company name, it will say request change. And that's because a lot of times you do have to make sure that the name and the company name do match what's on your application. So sometimes you do have to submit another application in order to have that changed so that the paperwork matches up. It also has your industry and classification and what chapter you're in. All of this stuff, again, it's more for informational purposes. If you need to change any of that, like you need to apply to a different chapter or you need your industry changed, those do need to be run through your membership committee. They need to be run through your regional office, and they can make those changes. Now, there's a couple of fields here, the registered tax office and the VAT reference number. You can put stuff in there if you happen to be from, I believe, Australia, some places in the UK. You may have to put in, for example, the VAT reference number. VAT for Americans that are on the call with us today, that stands for value added tax. So here we don't really have value added tax. That's more like our tax ID. They're required to put it in. We can just leave that blank. The important things that you want to spend some time on are the My Business descriptions and the keywords. Now, the My Business is where you can put in, the way I look at it is if you are meeting somebody for the first time, let's say that you're at your weekly meeting and it's during the open networking portion. And you go and you introduce yourself to a visitor that's there. What would you say to them to describe your business? Now, keep in mind when people are reading this information on the internet, they really aren't going to read a big long story about you. So you want to keep it kind of short and sweet, maybe a couple of sentences, or as you can see here, I did put in a code. This does allow HTML code, and I put in a YouTube video. I was able to embed that in there as well. If you're interested in that, I can definitely show you the steps for doing that towards the end of today's webinar. Just drop me a question into the questions panel. Now, the second part of this is the keywords. Now, the keywords are how people find you when they don't know your name. You know, when you're doing all those searches on both the public internet, so on the regional websites or the chapter sites, or whether you're doing the search using that magnifying glass here in BNI Connect, they're going to be searching obviously against the things that are in the database for you. So they're going to be searching against your name, they're going to be searching against your industry and your classification and your address and what state you're in and things like that. But just having one classification in one industry is pretty restrictive. So the keywords really help to supplement that, and you can expand upon your services or different names for them. An important thing is that BNI Connect is a database search. So I know a lot of times we're really spoiled by Google and Bing and some of these massive search engines that are indexing billions and billions of pages of data and also have billions and billions of dollars to spend on algorithms. This is a database search, so when you are searching against it, it's kind of the opposite. You want to put in less information to get more results, but it also means it's more exacting. So for example, if you are an accountant and your classification is listed as accountant, and somebody puts in somebody searches for the keyword accounting instead of accountant, it's not going to find you because unless you put accounting into your keywords, it would only find you for accountant. So you want to kind of think about what different words people would search for you and make sure to put those into the keywords. And this also goes for locations. One of the things you'll see here is I put in the abbreviations here for Massachusetts and Connecticut. And the reason for that, if anybody knows their geography of Rhode Island is a ridiculously small state. It takes about 40 minutes to drive from the top of Rhode Island all the way to the furthest point in the bottom of Rhode Island. So with that said, a lot of people in Rhode Island do business across the borders. So I put in Massachusetts and Connecticut. So if somebody's searching for computers or anything like that in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, or Connecticut, my name will show up. If you make any changes, click Update. The changes do get pushed out immediately, especially for things like the My Business description. The only thing that takes a little bit of time is if you do make these changes to the keywords, those do take about a half hour before they will become active, and that just gives the system time to rework the keywords into the system. But everything else here does take place immediately. So the second tab is where you can set your own username, by the way. A lot of times your username is automatically generated as your email address or something like that. You don't have to keep it your email address, and if you change your email address, it's not going to change your username automatically, but you can go in and change it to anything you want. Just click the change username button, and as long as it isn't taken, then you can change it to whatever you want. You can also change your password at any time. Now, if you should forget your password, you get to define your own question and answer. If you've never seen this process before, basically, let's say, or if anybody is struggling to log into BNI Connect or anybody from your chapter, you can show them how to do this. If they get to BNI Connect and they can't log in, if you click Forgot Password or Username, this will take you to a screen. You have to type in your email address and the little CAPTCHA code. Once it finds you in the system, it is going to ask you your question. And this will be the same question that you have in your profile. If you answer that question correctly, then it will allow you to reset your password. It's as easy as that, but you do need to make sure that you get your answer absolutely 100% correct. So in this case, you have to make sure that it's a capital H. And if there's any spaces or anything else throughout this question and answer, that has to be exact as well. As I said, BNI Connect is available in a number of different languages and dialects. and you can also set your time zone. Make sure that you upload a profile image and a company logo. It's pretty easy to do. Just click the Change button. And it will allow you to browse your computer. Just click on the magnifying glass. I could go browse the system and pick up a new logo that I'd like to upload, and that would attach that new logo to my profile. The next tab here has all of your contact information. So it's the one that looks like a little phone. The most important thing that you need to keep in mind here is that this has all of the settings for the public internet. So the public websites, for example, here in the United States, BNIAmerica.com, as well as the regional sites. And the very first question it asks you, do you want to be shown on the public websites? Yes or no. If it's checked, people can find you. If it's not checked, people can't find you. So just to give you a quick sample, I'm going to uncheck this and I'm going to save it by clicking Update at the bottom. I'm going to click Regional Website in my upper right hand corner. This is going to go to my regional website. I'm going to search for a member, and I'm just going to search for my name, Jeremy. I no longer am found out in the regional website. The same effect would happen on BNI America. So I'm also not listed on my chapter's roster here on the public side of things. If you want to be found, make sure that there is a check mark in that box. Once there's a check mark in that box, all of the rest of this is also effective. You can choose which of your phone numbers you wish to display on the website. You can also choose whether or not email can be sent through the website, and all your social media links and your address information. If you work out of your house, my recommendation is in the address line 1 here, use the words by appointment only or something like that. That way you can continue to have your city and your state and all that listed on your profile. It just wouldn't list your home address. The next tab is the account settings. This one is critical to pay attention to. This one controls your member to member. So when people find you by using the magnifying glass, so they have to be logged into BNI Connect, this shows which things they're going to be able to see. Which of your tabs are you sharing? The bio tab, the connections, the testimonials, picture gallery. Also whether or not you're going to share your email address and whether or not you're going to share your contact details. By default, it's not going to share all of these things. However, I highly recommend that at the very least you share your contact details with everybody. People aren't going to wait until they're connected to try to get in touch with you. If they're looking for your services, if they're looking for a massage, or they're looking for a chiropractor, they're looking for a handyman or a plumber, whatever it might be, please make sure to share your contact details with everybody so that they can get in touch with you. There's some notification settings here. You can choose whether or not you'd like to receive the group notifications if you're participating in groups, and which of these social media connections you'd like to be forwarded to your regular email address. By default, they'll just give you an alert here in BNI Connect, but for example, if somebody tries to send you an internal message, or if somebody wants to connect with you, would you like to be notified of that? You can choose yes or no. Now, finally, we have our bio tab, and this has your bio, your weekly presentations, your gains profile, and your tops profile. The bio is the same bio that we have been using in BNI forever, and it's the same one that your secretary treasurer will ask you to fill out before your 10-minute presentation at your chapter. If you fill it out here, they can just get it from here, and they don't have to chase you around with that piece of paper. Weekly presentations are good to put in here for a couple of reasons. It will allow people to basically see your 60-second presentation without having been to your chapter. And with 190,000 BNI members around the world, probably 189,900 of them will never be at your BNI meeting. Good way to be able to share more information. We have the gains profile, goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skills, and of course the tops profile. If you have limited time, do the tops profile first because that is one of the ones that appears on the public websites as well. Again, if you're a director, you can put your director-related information in. And finally, we have our training history. Training history is read-only. You can't edit it yourself. However, if you've, for example, you took the Member Success Program or the MSP recently and it's not showing up here, just give your regional office a call or your executive director, or your regional admin, or your director consultant. They will be happy to help you to get that updated on your profile. And that's it. That is filling out your profile in BNI Connect. And remember, once you do that, again, it shows in a number of places, both on the regional websites. Again, let's make sure that I can be found again. Yay, I'm back. So we have my profile here on the regional websites. And then again, if I am here in BNI Connect, and I use the magnifying glass, I have my profile here as well. All right, so that is completing your profile in BNI Connect. What I'd like to do now is to open this up to any questions. Does anybody have any questions whatsoever? I would absolutely love to entertain those questions now. While you're thinking of any questions, just a couple of reminders. This is the first part in a 5-part series. We're going to be continuing this series on Monday, December 7th. If you'd like to see the schedule, either go to your regional event calendar or click this question mark in the upper right-hand corner of BNI Connect. So this question mark should be available from any page in the system. And when you click that question mark, it will take you over to the support site. And right here, you'll see our December 2015 webinar series. You can click here to register. And again, we're going to be talking about giving and tracking referrals online next Monday. And then we have webinars just about every day next week as well, since it's a short month with Christmas. You can also find the recordings up here. So you will see the December 2015 recordings listed here. And they are also available on our YouTube channel. This one will be uploaded soon. youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. Again, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. This is where we list all of our webinars, all of our recordings. There's also short little education moment videos, tons of things up here, up on our YouTube channel. And I'd also absolutely love it if you gave us a like on Facebook, facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. We do webinar announcements and reminders and all sorts of things up here as well. So please do join us on Facebook. All right, so we do have a question here from Faith. Faith says, what do you recommend as a general answer for the referral questions? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Faith. As far as entering referrals in BNI Connect, or I don't know if you could possibly be a little bit more specific. So I can tell you that when it comes to entering referrals in BNI Connect, the number one benefit of entering referrals in BNI Connect. So when you just enter a piece of paper and you pass a piece of paper at the chapter meeting, what ends up happening is the statistics go in to the system, but when you do it through BNI Connect, we save it. So, all right, so here we go. In the section where it asks, what is your ideal referral? Okay, now I know what you mean. So if I go back to my profile here, and I update profile, my BNI page, under the bio tab, what you're talking about down here is your tops profile, so your ideal referral. So who would be the best referral source for you? For example, what I wrote in here, I happen to be, I'm in the computer industry, so my personal company, the Right Click, we do computer repair and we set up networks and servers and all that kind of stuff. So somebody that would be a good referral for me would be somebody that's either in need of those services or somebody that might be in contact with people that always need those services. For example, what I wrote in here is internet service providers and copy machines. So people that sell copy machines, they go into these offices of, 20, 30, 40 computers, and they sell them a new copy machine, and they're like, the person that owns the company starts complaining, oh, our network is slow and we can't get online. Hey, I've got a good referral for you. Call Jeremy at the right click. So that would be an ideal referral for me. So you can either ask for who's the ideal client for you or who is a good referral source for you. What business do you happen to be in, Faith? So Arbonne. So Arbonne is, if I'm not mistaken, makeup and cosmetics and wellness products. So good referrals for you might be, let's see, maybe, I don't know if it's going to sound silly or not, but like, maybe moms clubs, people that get together on a regular basis that might be able to, have a party where you can show your stuff. You can show your your Arbonne products. I know when we had our first kid, my wife became a member of the Moms Club, and the moms used to get together with all the infants on, if not a daily, at least a weekly basis. And having that tight-knit group of women would be a good outlet for some of those women's-based products. I don't know if beauty consultants, people that image consultants, things like that, they might be good chickens, so to speak, people that can provide referrals for you. Maybe hairdressers that don't have their own cosmetics. Other people, maybe wedding photographers that you might be able to provide the makeup for weddings, things like that. So yeah, think of those industries that might be able to refer you to lots and lots of clients. So hopefully that helps, Faith. Awesome. All right, does anybody else have any questions? I'm absolutely happy to answer any and all questions. All right, if there's no additional questions, just thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today, and I look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. A good referral for me, again, is to please let people know about these webinars. We do have our next webinar is coming up on Monday at this same time, 3 o'clock Eastern time, noon Pacific time. And on Monday, we will be talking about the giving and tracking referrals, how to use the online slips to really take the referral process to the next level. Again, thank you guys for being here today, and I look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Happy connecting, everyone.